romantik demek gerçekçi olmamak demektir.
Evet.
Yani kız erkek ilişkilerinde de biz bunu
Romantic means unrealistic. We see this in boy-girl relationships. Girls are more rational and realistic. One thinks of girls as being romantic, but it is men who are romantic. I'm talking about most women or a specific section of them. They occupy themselves with men as if they were dealing with mad people. A huge bearded man ends up in floods of tears. He goes and weeps, falls on his knees, pens letters, begs, and lights candles. This is all very primitive, insane behavior. He writes a letter and cries over it, and then makes a note on the edge of the letter saying he has drenched it in his tears. And that's a big, grown-up man. One lacks the words to talk about such a person. He is tall in stature, but has a brain no larger than a pea. But he is genuine and sincere. When one looks in someone's face, one wants to see their true face, hear their true voice, and learn their real ideas. But we see grown-up men adopting poses as if they were in a 1940s film. His movements slow down. He adopts odd behavior. His looks change. Everything about him is artificial. His tone of voice is artificial, and he tries to make people feel sorry for him. He behaves very oddly, walking around in the rain just like a psychopath.
Tabiri caizse parmağına takıp oynatıyor böyle. Evet. O zavallı da mesela kadın diyor ki ona olağanüstü olduğunu söylüyor. Yani böyle bir vakayı ilk defa gördüğünü söylüyor.
He gets wrapped around her little finger, as they say. He does exactly whatever she says. Then when the woman sees that, she hates him. She then tries to get him down even more. And the more she does that, the more emotional he becomes. He begins weeping like a woman. He is utterly disgraced. The woman becomes someone who bosses him about, humiliates him, and wipes the floor with him. And he loses all his character. Here I am talking about one section of the system that Allah has brought about as a punishment on them. Otherwise, a female believer would never behave in such a disgraceful manner. And a male believer will never fall into such a humiliating position. With them, we are looking at a profound love and respect, greatly valuing the other person and saying what one truly feels, speaking from the heart. We are looking at two minds meeting, two minds loving one, and binding very deeply to one another. In those other cases, we have one romantic and the other person bossing him around and making him crazy. Allah has brought them down and they are unable to taste true love. But believers are careful over what is lawful and unlawful and over proper measures. They are careful to respect one another. Other people commit adultery but call it flirting and enter into illicit liaisons. That's unacceptable. Believers, Sunnis, act according to the bounds in their beliefs, inshallah.
Romantizm mantıklı olmayı ortadan kaldırıyor. Tutarlı konuşmayı ortadan kaldırıyor. Mesela bir insan bir kadınla beraberse
Romanticism does away with logic. It stops a person speaking consistently. For example, if a man is with a woman and starts behaving romantically, that will automatically lead to falsity. And falsity is what women hate most of all. Men and women love falsity. But being natural has a profound effect on people. What affects a woman is the other person's honesty, sincerity, fear of Allah, trustworthiness, and being balanced and rational. But rational women hate falsity. They dislike such people. But a woman will like someone who is rational, consistent, and who thinks deeply. When she sees his depth and rationality, Allah gives rise to a special power within her. And then the woman loves him and is deeply affected by it. An ineffable delight arises in her soul. A sixth sense develops. But in romanticism, like stage actors, people are false and deceptive, and that's an utter disgrace, of course. You cannot behave in a balanced manner when you're romantic. You weep or try to kill yourself or torture yourself, and you cannot be happy. Are unbalanced people romantic?
Genelinde öyle olur. Yani hüzün getirir ve tavırlarında bozukluk olur. Akılcılık en güzelidir. Yani akılcılıkta heybet, derinlik ve ihtişam olur. Bir insanın
Generally
ruhunu
speaking,
derinden etkileyen bir güzellik
it brings
ortaya
sorrow with it and impairs people's behavior. Being rational is the best thing. Rationality brings dignity, depth and splendor with it. It produces a beauty that has a profound impact on the human soul.
Gerçekçi olmak çok güzeldir. Akıllı olmak.
One cannot be romantic and rational. A falsity develops, an artificiality like that of a film studio. One sees scenes reminiscent of Turkish films, both funny and unrealistic. It's good to be realistic. Depth, passion, love of Allah, regarding other people as a manifestation of Allah, and loving for Allah all have a profound effect on the soul. Then, that sixth sense goes into action and Allah gives rise to a profound love for a woman in the human soul. That sixth sense that Allah produces instead of romanticism is highly important. Romanticism smooths reason and logic with falsity.